Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here. Welcome to the Final Cut. So glad you could join us today. Yes, today we are looking at a new film. We get a sneak peek at The Flood. It's out July 14th, but we get this early look at this creature feature from a familiar name. Yes, Brandon Slagle back in the director's chair once again, giving us the story of Sheriff Jo Newman. Now, she has a skeleton crew in her department that are holding down the fort during a major storm system moving through the area. A hurricane dumping tons of water that's leaking through her roof, and she's just trying to survive the night. Well, things get bad when a bus full of convicts show up. The bus can't make the roads anymore, and so they have to house the convicts overnight in her small, understaffed jail cells, which she does agree reluctantly, but things go bad to worse as the flooding continues to get worse in the building. The water rises, and they have some other unexpected guests, and that's in the form of some killer gators. And soon the cops and the convicts have to work together to try to survive from becoming a gator food before the storm is over. Yeah, wow, this film was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Now, you've got to enjoy some smaller budget films for this one, and I'll get to that part in a minute. But what really helps make this, again, is the talent of Brandon Slagle. I'm always impressed by the films that Brandon does, and here he really makes the most of what they have, and from the tension building to the cuts to the way this story plays out, I thoroughly enjoyed how he handled this material that is a familiar territory for us who watch a lot of monster films. And now he does have a lot of help in front of the camera, not just behind. Yes, we have a great talented group of individuals playing our cops and robbers. Now, Sheriff Jo Newman is played wonderfully by Nikki Whalen. She plays this badass character who you feel her tensions and her stress and just everything, all the weight that's bearing down on her, not just because of these unexpected convicts that she now has to be responsible for, but also some legacy in her family that she's trying to live up to. So you feel all of that, and I just loved her banter with it was believable. You believe that Sheriff Joe could go toe-to-toe with any one of these convicts, even though they are some of them very nasty individuals, and I love that about her character. Casper Van Dien shows up again as Russell Cody. He playing one of the convicts. I love the roles he's been taking lately, all these kind of shady or villainous roles. He's really getting in there, because I always just see him as Rico, and I think, that's probably one of my favorite roles of his, but he's a very talented actor, and here, yeah, he's bringing some level and depth to a character who's labeled a cop killer. You also have a wonderful performance in here by Randall J. Bacon as Jocks Apone. Love the name and love this character. He gets some wonderful banter with, yes, we have a Mike Ferguson sighting in here as he plays Floyd McGraw, and these two go back and forth quite a bit in the film, and I just loved the banter that they had. A lot of talent here, really selling this, which for a film that doesn't take place in a lot of locations. Again, they're working on a small budget, but in some harsh conditions, as that is real water that they're standing in for nearly the entire movie. It couldn't have been easy, but everybody pulls it off well, and you never feel like they're uncomfortable unless the story calls for it. Mandalore Lewis plays Rafe. Loved his character, loved the conflict between him and the Russell Cody character. Casper and Mandalore really go back and forth, and you have some interesting tense moments where they're not saying a whole lot, but it's just being next to one another. You can just feel that tension. They really sell that well. And then, of course, we've got in a small role, Devaney Pinn showing up in here. I love how when she shows up on screen, it's always fun. She's in the stinger opening part. I would have liked to see her get more screen time, but she's always makes the most of when she's on camera. As far as our CGI creatures go, that's where the budget does show in some spots in this film, is the CGI animals, the creatures. They gotta, make certain decisions, and well, CGI tends to take a little bit of a hit, but I still think they were fearsome creatures. They work best when they take the Jaws approach in this, which Brandon does quite often, in which you don't see all of the creature, just its eyes or just its shadow underwater. He really takes that type of approach, and I think it's very effective and creates for some intense scenes, especially when they do decide to take their victims. But again, then there are some shots in here that look maybe a little bit rough. But overall, if you don't mind a small budget monster film, you're going to enjoy this one, I think. If nothing else, for the characters and the talent that you have in here, really selling the threat that these CGI monsters have, and really keeping that tension. It takes a wild turn at the end, too, which the way it ends, yeah, I thought was very interesting. So thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this. Check out The Flood when it is out on July 14th. Also, check out my interview with the producer, Daemon Hillin, who talks about the role of being a producer, the challenges it is, especially working on a limited budget, and what went into making The Flood. So link in there as well in the body of this, or just look on our YouTube page. Speaking of, please help us get to 2,500 subscribers, and like, subscribe, bells and whistles, and all of that here so you don't miss any of our great reviews coming, and you help us get to 2,500 subs by the end of the year. I thank you for your support. Until next time, remember, I keep that ticket stub.